Welcome, listeners, to this week's episode of Saddle Up Live. I'm really excited to have Junie Moon with me today. She is the CEO of Midlife Love Out Loud. And I was blessed to have her on Doing Divorce Different. And we were talking about love and getting rid of shadows and changing your life and the future after divorce. And what we're going to talk about today is a little bit more about self love. We're going to get Junie's background, which is really interesting. I love her name. I talked to her about that, Junie Moon. I mean, you can't get a better name than that. But we are going to talk about loving ourselves and how can we reach next level love, because I know as a midlife mama and grandma that it has been something that has been hard for me. It's been hard to love myself. And then sometimes I get so big headed, I fall on my face. I mean, I have those moments too. Um, and I know that Junie has been studying this and helping people for a long time. And so I'm excited to have her here today to help us love ourselves more. So, Junie, welcome to Saddle Up Live. Thank you so much for coming back and being on this podcast. And can you just give a little background to my listeners on what led you to do this work?
Thank you for having me back. I just love the name Saddle Up. It's like, yeehaw,
I know.
let's get down to business. I had such low self-esteem and I didn't know it. I didn't love myself, even though I thought I did, not in the way that I needed to. And I accepted a lot of bad behavior. And I was in a marriage and walked on eggshells, micromanaged everything, didn't want to rock the boat. And I didn't get my needs met because on some level, I didn't believe I deserved to get my needs met, which was crazy when I thought about that, when I really discovered what was going on. And so through the years of painful dynamics in that relationship, and after therapy and going up and down the scale 40, 50 pounds at a time, many times, I hit rock bottom. And I thought I had a food problem, but what I found out was it was a self-love problem. It was an inside disruptive craziness between my ears problem. And I found shadow work. I found this body of work that helped me see why I was behaving the way I was, why all the books and the therapy wasn't working. I was only working a certain aspect of my life. And so once I dug in and got beyond my conscious mind, I discovered that I am so worthy of love, that I am such a wonderful person, deserving of great care and lots of fun and all my dreams. And I just had no idea until I pulled back the curtains and went, oh, I've picked up a lot of beliefs along the way around who I am and how I need to be to survive, to be loved, to be safe. And then everything shifted, and I realized I could still be loved and accepted and safe. And it started with me. So that's why I do the work I do, because I have been in the right size body, healthy body for over 20 years, give or take a couple of pounds here and there. And I love my life, whether I have a partner in my life or not. And I've experienced next level love in a way that I never thought was possible.
Yeah, I love that. And I love when people go through something hard and they learn from it and they share it with other people. That's just such a blessing to me. And so I love that you're here and that you're going to be talking about this next level love. And I just, I want to add, so I'm just starting to kind of look at this. And I know I'm so into those beliefs and I'm trying to grab on to more beliefs about loving myself. And I love all those things you were just throwing out about, I'm worthy. I just have to say that one belief that has really helped me recently was I was praying and I was thinking and I thought, boy, God created me and he created me beautiful and he loves me. And so he doesn't create crap, right? And that one thought has really changed my life. Now, I know I have a lot of other shadows, because I'm a big people pleaser, and I want to be able to speak my truth.
Yeah.
I don't want to be afraid to say what I believe. And I want to be, and I think we need that so much in this world, that we need to be able to speak our truth and listen and hear other people's truths. So
Mhm.
I feel like if we can love ourselves enough to do that, it can change the world. And the world is a great place, and it could use a little change into, I think, a little better
Yeah.
communicating. So I love that. I just love that we're talking about this today. And I want to hear from you. What is next level love, and how do I get it?
Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you for sharing a little bit
Yeah.
about you too. And I'm going to piggyback on something you said about, if God created you, you know, how could it be wrong or bad in any way? And so, that's great. Finding these pieces to the puzzle that can help us break through some of our limiting beliefs can be so freeing. And in addition to that, and this is the first time I'm actually even thinking this, to be honest. So I'm like, right, it's like fresh off the press
I
here.
love it.
If God or the universe or spirit created us in this way, it also, or he also, or however you want to define that language, um, created us to survive as well, gave us this survival system inside of us so that we would make it through. And it's that system of, I better be careful, I better watch what I say, I better fit in, I better not get discarded, that trips us up often, because we're trying to jump through other people's hoops
Mhm.
in order to maintain the peace, in order to be loved and
Yep.
accepted. So that's the outside in. It's like, okay, we better do all these things so the outside accepts us. However, you get into your 40s and 50s and above, and you're like, all right, I've been jumping through people's hoops. I've been people pleasing all my life. This is exhausting. I'm not getting my needs met. Why is this? What's going on? So, next level love is the ability to truly relax and be yourself without apology. Next level love is you loving yourself in such a deep way. Now, you might have thought it had to do with outside, and yes, it does. But first, you need to, and I'm talking to you and everybody, and me myself,
Mhm.
because I'm still working it, to know so deeply at a cellular level that there's absolutely nothing wrong with you, and you are so deeply loved and lovable. And um, and when you can tap into that wholeness, that richness, when you've cleaned up a lot of the baggage and the old belief systems you picked up from our culture, from your parents, from exes, from watching TV or having bad relationships, because we've picked up a lot of information that had us going, oh, well, obviously I suck at relationships, or somebody telling you, oh, you're a little too big for your britches. I mean, like, we
Mhm.
pick up all this stuff, and then we lose access to that real deep beautiful truth of our divinity, our specialness, our beauty. And so when we can release and let go and heal the BS, the belief systems that we've picked up along the
Mhm.
way, it frees us up to go, ah. And that is next level love. It is so miraculous to be able to just, and self love, it's not just, okay, I love myself, I love myself, I'm going to look in the mirror and do my vision boards and look at my body
Yeah.
and say I love myself. I mean, yes, that is, I'm kind of mocking it a little bit, because it's just the tip of the iceberg. We need to embody it, we need to believe it, and we need to get beyond the conscious mind to own it. And when we do, the outside changes and who comes into our world changes. If we don't have that deep connection to that self-love inside of us and know how precious we are, then we will accept bad behavior because we don't believe we deserve anything more. So next level love is you, fully you, without apology.
I love what you're saying, and it's speaking to me. And so I've just been through something really hard. I don't know if you knew this, but the reason I've got my cap on and I'm in pink is I just finished up chemo for
I
breast
didn't
cancer.
know this. No.
Yeah, and I
Mm.
was cold capping, so I got to keep my hair. but I can't fix it yet. And I'm going through radiation right now.
Wow.
I know, but and I need you to know it was early detection. I'm fine. Like it's
Oh, thank
all
goodness.
good. I know. It's really been quite the journey. And to go, I mean, there were times when you don't know what your pathology is. And then, I've got some dear friends that are going through it and maybe don't have the same pathology. And then going in and seeing people who are suffering so much, I just feel blessed. So I'm not saying this as a downer because I have so many blessings and I'm so thankful,
Yeah.
but it has changed me. And
Yeah.
I am a Christian. And so I really started, I told you how I had that thought of if God loves me this much. And so then I was kind of starting to do, there's this, I think it's called pause. It's like a meditation. And there's like this 30-day of resilience. And this is what was so amazing. I would just lay in bed and especially when you're really scared, and it would walk me through feeling completely loved by Jesus.
Ah, so
And
good.
oh, I can't tell you, it is the most amazing experience to feel that love. And it reminded me, like, I have children, I have grandchildren, like, how much you love them, or if you have a puppy that whatever it is,
Yeah,
I,
pure love.
pure love. And to have that realization that he loves me that much has changed my life. And
I
but
get it.
yeah, but this is the thing, Junie, is that the ugly head creeps up
Yeah.
of the other thoughts. And I think what I've noticed is through this, I have had more of an ability to tell people I love what I need, even if it might hurt them, but it's uncomfortable. Like
Yeah.
I might have just hurt someone that I love by telling them, you need to be positive, or this is what I need, because people say the stupidest things.
Yes,
and
they do.
and you want to help them, and you want to say how it affected you, because that's my truth,
Yeah.
not in a mean way, in a loving way.
Yeah.
And so, but I realize that's still uncomfortable for me, really uncomfortable, because I've always
Yeah.
been the pleaser.
Yeah. So a few things there. First of all, thank goodness you're doing so well.
Mhm.
And what a journey. And you're still
Mhm.
on the journey. And I've had sadly, many people in my life that were on the other side of breast cancer. I went through it with a dear friend of mine. I just had an ultrasound that came up with 4 concerning cysts, and they said it's probably benign. See you in 6 months. It's scary. We're
It
as human
is.
beings, it's really scary. No matter how tapped into spirit we are, we're still embodied, and it's still a journey. It's a dance. And the more we connect to spirit or Jesus for you, it helps us. Love is the answer to everything. Love heals. And I work with Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, and he has all of these very beautiful meditations that help us tap into this. Is different, and I think the same, whether you're talking Jesus or whether you're talking quantum field. In my opinion, and I hope I'm not offending anybody, this is my opinion, that when you tap into pure love, however you do it, and your body can connect so fully with that truth of love, it heals.
Mhm.
And so it's a journey. And then it's like, but where did that thought come from? Like, why am I walking on eggshells again? Or I wanted to speak up and it scared me and my stomach was in knots. We need to give ourselves a break in a good way. We need to be kinder to ourselves. This is self-love in action, what I'm about to talk about. Because we could say I love myself, I love myself, but how are we actually showing up for ourselves?
Right.
When we hear, like, if we had the knots in our stomach, or we said something we didn't mean, or we did something and then we're like, oh, I should have said no, and I really wanted to
Yeah.
say yes, and that voice comes in, you idiot, you should know better, blah blah blah. Like, that's not kind, that's not gentle. If a little kid fell on the ground and scraped their knee and was screaming and crying, you wouldn't go, you idiot. You would be like,
Mhm.
oh my God, honey, out of love, you'd be like trying to take care of them. Self-love in action is spotting when we're off the beam, and it's a muscle. And so there's the conscious muscle of, ooh, I'm noticing I'm stressed right now. Oh, I'm noticing I don't really want to tell them that they were late and now my dinner is kind of wonky or whatever.
Yep.
Just to notice what's going on inside of you, uh, that there it's a muscle that we have to learn and grow. And with shadow work, the work that I do, there are reasons behind the scenes in your mind and your operating system, so to speak, that are creating these patterns of behavior for a very good reason. So good for you for tapping into the connection with Jesus, connecting with your Christianity, knowing love, and also spotting that, hey, sometimes I still drop into people pleasing.
Yep.
Decades and decades of wiring of what we've experienced. So it takes a little time, not a lot. I work with people maybe a few months, sometimes people over a year if they're in my year-long program, to pull back the curtain so they can have the confidence, so they can really have that deep self-love where they're kind to each other and take the shame off and quiet that inner critic.
Right.
So that's the journey.
It is such a journey. And as you're talking, I'm thinking about how it's just uncomfortable, but that's how you grow. And I know that, but it is so uncomfortable to me to not be what everybody wants me to be, or to, it's
Yeah.
just really uncomfortable. And, I was thinking as you were talking, maybe to the people I love, I can just share that. I can just say, okay,
Yeah.
this is really hard for me to say, but I'm feeling Jesus love, and I want to share with you what I
Yeah.
need. And I don't want to hurt you. I think I can just make it a little more comfortable by sharing that. And then when we do that, what are we showing other people? We're
Exactly.
showing other people how they can be there for themselves.
Exactly. And that is next level love for yourself, and teaching them on some level how to take care of you or respect you. And by doing that, they go, oh, I didn't know we could do it that way.
Right.
And there's different ways to have communication. I mean, I have this whole process. I teach people how to have those difficult conversations without throwing them under the bus, so they
Right.
can really hear what's going on inside of you. And just like you said, it's uncomfortable. It's like going to the gym for the first time.
Mhm.
You lift the weights, the next day or two, you're like, oh my God, I can't walk. Oh my God, my muscles are killing me. It's uncomfortable until it's not.
Yeah.
Keep going. We learn, we grow, we try these things on. And there is something to be said about when we change, we're changing the dynamics with the people around us. It can be uncomfortable for them too, because suddenly you're not
Mhm.
the same person. And so to be able to share how you just shared, hey, this is uncomfortable, but something is different inside of me, and I need to share this with you. And let's have a dialogue around it, have an open discussion around it. So different than just cutting people out because they're different, or
Right.
shaming them because they're different. Because what's
Right.
that going to do? Be the person you want to be, and
Exactly.
and how you want them to be as well.
And I mean, I truly believe anyone that's offended me is someone that I love and they didn't mean to.
Yeah.
They didn't
Yeah,
mean to. People say the darndest things.
exactly. They're just
So
coming from their programming or their
yeah,
fear. I mean, look at the craziness in our country right now. There's so much hatred and people putting each other down and finger pointing. It's all from fear of, from their perspective of something bad is going to happen if you take office or you take office.
yeah.
It's just fear, but how people are dialoguing, it's just not in a healthy way where people can actually have a conversation.
I know. And gall darn it, as we're sitting here, I didn't think we were going to talk about this, but how can we change that? Because Junie, I am a person I have friends that I love who have totally different outlooks than I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love them, and I can
Yeah.
listen to them, and they can listen to me. And why is that changing? And why are we so afraid to have these conversations? Why is it
Yeah.
so? Any ideas? I know I didn't tell you I was going to talk about
No,
this.
we could talk about anything. My brother, I love my brother, and he's deep into politics. And he actually, if you want to say sides, which I hate, but
Right.
I'm kind of on his side. I totally am on, in his, how he views things. but how he speaks about it, it gets me uptight. And I usually will say to him,
Yes.
I'd rather not talk about it, or, I hear that you have information I don't know, but I'll reach out to you. So to your question, it's tricky. And this is where self-care really comes in. And this is where good communication really comes in. There are going to be those people, and I have them in my life too, that because I think differently than them, they want nothing to do with me. And it's just like, wow, okay. You know, I, and those are not people that are like close with me truly.
Hmm.
The people that love me and I love them, if they think differently, and trust me, I've got a handful of people that think completely differently, that they're going to be voting in a very different way. They have
Right.
very different ways of looking at things. I don't go into those conversations with them, frankly, because I don't do politics. I wouldn't even know how to counter half the stuff they would say. Well, this bill, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And this, it's like, I'm not going there. I come from love. And so firstly, the conversation, or not even having the conversation, just don't go there. But if they go there, say something to the effect of, I love you, and I think we think differently. Can we not go there and just maintain our love, knowing that we think things differently? And they're going to be people that drop you. And that is a scary thing. And that
Hmm.
goes back to, what will people think? Will I be left? That's that survival mechanism. So when you learn, and this is the work I do, when you learn your value, when you have a healthy ability, healthy boundaries, and the ability to have these conversations without offending,
Hmm.
then you could potentially, because there are some extreme passionate people about what they think and feel. If you can get to that sweet spot and say, sister, brother, whatever, I love you. And we do think differently. And I'm scared to say that I think differently than you.
Right.
But can we just put that aside and just maintain our love? And they may or may not go for the ride. And that is just reality. And then it comes back down to, how do you want your life to be?
Right.
And who do you want to surround yourself with? And you might lose some people along the way, but you'll gain people that really respect you, not because of your politics, but because of who you're being.
Right. Right. And I have to say, I love everything you're saying. And I feel like would want to tell the person how much I love them and how I really want to hear. I really want to hear their perspective.
I do that too. Curiosity. I
Yeah.
have those conversations all the time. Typically, I don't come back with my stuff. I'm like, I really would love to know what your perspective is. And, and I hear them and I listen to them and I'm like, I didn't know that. I'll look into that. Or just open to, okay, that's how they see it. That is so not how I see it. But then I go, we're all so different. Can
Yeah.
I still love this person even if they see something differently? I do. However, most people go right into that judgment, and it comes from fear.
And as I'm talking to you, I'm thinking about these really hard mediations that I've had. And you have to listen to each other. And so I think it's the point of saying, okay, I heard you say this, maybe repeat it. Are you okay hearing what I think of it? And
Yeah.
then have that person repeat it. I just think we're also, because I don't really want to run and hide from it either. I want to be
Yeah.
able to talk about it, right?
Absolutely. And you might
Unless you
want to talk
can't.
about it. Well, that's the thing, is it's like, you got to know yourself. I get
Yep.
so stressed out. I do. When people are angry and volatile and critical, I'm like, no, thank you. It's like drinking poison to me. So if we can have a peaceful conversation of our differences, I'm all in.
Yep.
I typically don't go there. I typically go one way. Like I said, tell me more about where you're thinking. If you're that kind of person and you have somebody that you can have that dialogue with, awesome. I mean, it's
Right.
with, whether it's politics, whether it's spirituality, whether it's diet and nutrition. I mean,
Right.
to this day, sometimes someone will say something and I'm like, oh my God, that is so not how I view it. And I'm just not going to go there because
Right.
they're so adamant about their perspective. And if they ask me, how do you view it? then I might say, well, if you're open to it, I'll share. But
Right.
I'm not going to offer it if I can just see the door is closed and there's no way in. It's not good for me. I don't like that.
Right. And
Peace, love.
yeah, and that, that's so interesting because I so hear you, but sometimes in my role, I have to get people there. When you're
Yeah.
going through a divorce and you have different views on how
Yeah.
to raise your kids, we do have to do that. So if we can be, and that's where having a mediator kind of help you
Yeah.
it's so good because you can keep it a little bit in perspective. And I actually have people repeat what the other person said to make
Nice.
sure that they heard them. And
That
so
is
there,
so good.
yeah, so there are ways of doing that, but and I just think this is such an interesting topic, Junie. I can't even
You know,
believe
I
that.
want
Yeah,
I want
go
to just
ahead.
add that, I typically work, marketing, putting it out there. How do you stand out? I'm the love coach for people in the second half of life. That's the
Yeah.
shingle out my door. However, I've had people that are in the challenge of divorce, the pain of divorce, the negotiation, and they're so in their fear and in their offense or defense, and so I've helped them not with the logistics, but how to be, how they can have that healthy dialogue, how they can take good care of themselves. Frankly, when I went through my divorce, it was pretty darn peaceful. It wasn't great. It sucked in a lot of ways for all the
Mhm.
reasons it sucked, but it was amicable and it was peaceful because I had done my work. I wasn't scared of him. I had to be conscious of what was important for me and to be able to have that dialogue. And people need to have those inner tools. So I love that you slow it down and say, can you repeat that?
Yeah.
Because it goes so fast and people get so uptight and they want what they want and they want to make sure that they're taken care of and all the things and the anger and you did this and you
Mhm.
did that. It's volatile and it's an absolutely awesome opportunity to do some good work inside yourself and find some peace even when you're going through it.
Yep. So even when you're going through hard times,
Yeah.
finding that inner peace will change your life. And Junie, I'm so thankful that you were with us today. It was so fun to chat with you on Saddle Up Live. And we talked a little bit about divorce. Listeners, go ahead and listen to Doing Divorce Different if you want to hear more about this loving, being loved by others and learning how to do it a different way after divorce. And if you want to reach out to Junie, all her information is going to be in the show notes. So thank you so much, Junie.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. This was so fun.
It was really fun. Thanks for being here.